Welcome back, everybody, to the She Sells, He Sells podcast. Ideas worth buying. You excited to be here today and talk about this one?
I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous.
I don't think this one is quite as controversial as maybe you're convinced that it might be.
Okay.
All right. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I'm also going to make a prediction since I already know the answer to this. The prediction is obviously correct. We will likely see eye to eye on this one, too.
I know. We started with a bang at this rebrand, but sadly, we agree on a lot of things.
Sadly. I mean, I think we align 99.8% of the time.
98.9.
98.9. Yeah. That makes more sense. All right. You ready for this one, Krista?
I'm ready.
All right. I am selling today. Phones do not belong in kids' bedrooms. I said it.
I said what I said.
Right? I'm not backing down. Phones don't belong in kids' bedrooms.
I'm buying it.
You're buying it? Okay.
I am buying it, but we have a lot to dig into. Can you define what a kid is?
Like a teenager. I mean, somebody who...
So a 7-year-old can have one, just not a teenager.
No. Someone who someone who possesses a phone number that which the parent pays for.
Yes, because it doesn't pay their own phone bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So once upon a time, a few years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, it was. We should have tried to do a little bit of digging and remember exactly when we got our kids' phones.
Yeah, I do remember when we got our kids. I don't remember when we got our kids' phones.
Yeah.
Ava begged for a phone for a very long time. Remember?
Oh my gosh.
Incessant.
I found a note on my notes app.
Yeah.
That
you told me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on my iCloud, so it synced up with every new phone I've gotten, and Ava wrote it. I think it was Ava's born in 2006.
06, yeah.
So I think it was from 20. No. Probably. It was from 2012 or 2013, and it was reasons I should have a phone.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if she called it a phone then. It was an iTouch or whatever. Yeah. She has always wanted a device. Yeah. She's that kid that it has been a struggle with her forever. She's just always wanted a thing. Yeah.
And she's the oldest, right? So we sort of felt this thing what you allow for the oldest, you're sort of maybe a little bit sort of having to do for the second.
Do you think I don't
know. I mean, I don't think we had to do the same, but
No, I mean, I don't think we understood that.
Well,
I think we understand it now, and we were shoot, we really effed that up. But I don't, Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm assuming she was maybe 12-ish?
Yeah, I think it was around 12.
So we're going 7 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Ava got a phone. Obviously, Emmy didn't have a phone yet. Subsequently, a couple of years later, Emmy got a phone. And now we've got 2 kids with phones. And now this is also about 5 or 6 years ago, probably. So Bennett is now 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, I think both of them got phones around 12 years old.
Yeah.
And we didn't give them all the apps at that time.
That's a whole nother episode, the apps thing.
Well, I think we can get into it a little bit.
So once the girls became middle schoolers, started to become preteen,
early
teenagers, right? Early high school kids. The phone was a big thing for them. I'm assuming most other parents are feeling the same way, right? It was a constant back and forth. Susie's allowed to do this with her phone. Sally's allowed to do this. So there was always that kind of back and forth with the kids. We noticed pretty quickly that, hey, this has the potential to really sort of decentralize our family unit, which we've always prided ourselves on being a pretty tight-knit group of people, right? We make our mistakes for sure, but that's always a thing that we've always really focused on together. And we had this sense, I know we talked about this multiple times, that there was this opportunity to sort of fragment a little bit here. We were worried that we were being pulled.
It was happening.
Yeah. But it was potentially going to go more and more.
Explain what you mean.
So, one kid is on her phone here, another kid is on her phone
in their bedrooms.
In their bedrooms, they're looking, doing whatever they're doing. Sometimes it wasn't even necessarily like a bad thing. It just was taking time away from spending time together, right? So we had that sense of like things are fragmented, everybody's siloed, they're off in their own corner of the house, and quite honestly, like we just didn't like that, you know. And then I think you, being a mom, you know, you were really concerned about
being a mom.
Well, no, but I mean, I think like you thought of things that I didn't think of.
Yeah, that is so true.
That's a compliment. Just say thank you. Like, it's a compliment.
You know what? I received that compliment. I received that.
Good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, also you being who you are, like amazing, and you definitely spiraled a little bit on what you saw. Imagine.
I didn't know amazing would precede spiral.
Yeah, you could spiral amazingly.
Yeah, I'll interject here.
Yeah, so you also, you kind of had this concern that this thing is spiraling out of control.
Yeah, so can I add a little color commentary to the story? That's why I'm here. Okay, so yes, the girls, Ava had her phone, and then you have another kid that has a phone, and then we have Bennett, who still does not have a phone at 11 years old. And kids, it's less about the phone and it's more about what they do on the phone. And then they have this, like, they start to find themselves in this private world. And so they retreat. And so where do kids retreat? They retreat to their bedroom. So I think of, like, you know, like when you and I were growing up, the bedroom was where we would like talk on the phone, you know, and that's what you do privately. You would have private conversations on the phone. But other than that, I mean, I had a TV in my room. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you would watch TV in your room. But I remember like my mom and dad coming in, like, what are you watching? And like if I was watching something I shouldn't, I'd quickly change the channel. But there's a lot less privacy that can happen, even on a phone conversation or on a TV, that can happen on a smartphone. Yeah. And so what's happening is the girls are up there on their phones in their bedrooms and you don't know what's happening. So I do have control issues. I've had control issues my whole life. And in this like preteen into early teen years, that was really difficult for me, specifically with Ava, because she's the oldest and the first going through it. And so it became a lot of like, let me see your phone. That's my phone. It's not yours because I'm paying the phone bill. So this creates a very bad dynamic between us because she feels like I'm constantly breathing down her neck, looking over her shoulder. I'm looking in her Safari and Chrome, like search history constantly. You're seeing things that are alarming that probably, like, I can't even think of a good example, but like in a silo should not be alarmed, or in a silo are alarming, but like in the broader context are really not alarming. Yeah. But I'm jumping to all these conclusions and that I shouldn't necessarily be jumping to. It just creates this thing of like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Then I'm looking at her text. I'm seeing her on these texts with all these kids that are like cussing and saying these things, which, like, you know, now that I've chilled out, I'm on my third kid. I'm like, I just know this happens. And like, it doesn't mean it's okay, but I know it happens. It's not that deep. Yeah. But with your first kid. So it just created this really tricky dynamic, rough for Ava and I. And, and also
there's a lot of friction, right?
Because a lot of friction.
You were imagining things that probably were worse than what was happening in reality, or sometimes at least were, right?
Yes.
And then we had the additional piece of like, oh, is this the beginning of the fragmentation that we can no longer put back
together? And so I don't want to say stricter, you kind of have to decide, like, where's my line in the sand? Yeah. And so for us, the line in the sand, we could have just said, we're not doing phones. Yeah. You know, we're not doing phones. Right. And we did create, that's a whole other episode. Like, we did have a lot of things around like screen time and apps and all those things. And as you said, that's a whole different conversation. Yeah. But for us, our line in the sand has always been the family unit. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, again, all those things taken into consideration, all right, something has to change here, right? So the implementation, or the what had to change and what we implemented was no phones in the bedroom, right?
No phones in the bedroom.
So every night when you go to bed, your phone stays charging, plugged in the kitchen, on the kitchen island or on the counter or whatever.
But just no phones in the bedroom ever.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not at night, your phone stays down there. When you're home, the phone doesn't go up in the room with you. If you're like talking to a friend, you talk to a friend. And I feel like now, I mean, I don't want to jump to the conclusion here, but like now I feel like Emmy's talking on her phone, or whenever she talks on her phone, it happens a lot in the family room, in the dining room, in the kitchen, what areas that we are where it doesn't seem like an issue at all.
Yeah. And I do think so there are exceptions to every rule. Sure. And so it's literally not about the conversation at all to me, because what do kids do on their phones? It is not have conversations. They are rarely on FaceTime with friends. Yeah.
What do kids do on their phones? No, I'm kidding.
What you always say weird stuff. No weird phone stuff.
Yeah, that was a rule I had. No weird phone stuff.
Yeah, the issue is not talking. And so I have always said to the kids, if you want to have a conversation, a private conversation, just say, hey, are you cool if I go up to my room and talk to whoever, or, and our answer is always yes. Mm-hmm. So it's literally not about the private conversations. That's okay. But they still do have those, they still do call people in common spaces as well. But they are allowed to say, hey, I'm going to go call my boyfriend, or I'm going to go call my friend, or I'm going to go take this call upstairs. And we're always like, yeah, that's fine, because they do deserve their privacy. What we tried very, very hard, and what this rule for us was putting in place was, it's so you are not just isolating in your room by yourself on your phone. Mm-hmm. Are they allowed to spend time in their room alone? Absolutely. They can do anything they want in their room. They can read, they can draw, they can sleep, they can do whatever they want in their room. But guess what? They don't. Because what do kids want to do in their room? For the most part, they want to lay on their phones, and there's just nothing good that's going to happen. I'm sorry. There's just not. Good stuff doesn't happen when a kid is by themselves in their bedroom on their phone, unless they're having a conversation. And maybe sometimes they're watching Netflix or whatever, but you can take your laptop up and do that every once in a while. It's just not good. Yeah.
And those hours can really wind away.
Yes.
As we all know.
Yes. As we found out, a little funny. Remember what Ava did the one time? She had a whole... It's funny now. No. It wasn't funny at the time. It wasn't funny at the time. We found out she had a whole fake TikTok account. Yeah. One time we found out she was spending hours, and we're like, she had a whole TikTok account. She was viral for she created.
Was it Cheetos or something?
No, it was Lay's. It was a Lay's potato chips account. It was actually very funny. I forgot about that too. But she made a Lay's potato chips account where she had made faces on Lay's potato chips, and it was a parody account. It was funny, but it was also
why is this funny? But
what the bad word? Yeah.
Speaking of TikTok, do you want to share the final piece to the story here?
You can.
I don't really know the origin.
Okay.
To this,
well, yeah. So we made this rule of
no phones,
which, by the way, our kids loved it. No. Our kids hated it.
There was a little pushback.
They still, and I feel like they finally
accept it.
It's finally a non-issue. Yeah. In fact, before we're recording this on a weekend, and we were writing out the note cards, and I was like, shh, don't let Emmy see them, because if Emmy knows we're doing a podcast, I really thought Emmy was going to be upset. And she was just ugh, kind of an eye roll. Yeah. But even a year ago, when I would say this to people, Emmy's do not let people know. That's our rule. That's embarrassing. But it's now finally just whatever. She doesn't care. She's moved on. She's old enough that she doesn't care. But they hate this. They hated this rule. And Ava comes home from college. Does this rule get broken? Yes. Do we know that it gets broken and sometimes we turn the other cheek? Yes. But for the most part, you pick your battles. This is the house rule. And for the most part, it is obeyed. But no, they didn't like this rule. But, not to jump ahead to the solution or to the success of where this idea is all going, but it has maintained this close family unit that has always been the crux of who we are and what we are about, and one of the hills we will die on as parents. And so I don't know, it was a year or two ago, there's always things on TikTok, are you this or are you that? They're always trying to paint everybody in categories. And so they did this whole thing of is your family a bedroom family or a living room family? And the kids were like, oh my gosh, this is the easiest one ever. We're a living room family. And I'm like, well, explain it to me. And so it was really like, where does everyone in your family hang out? Like, do you all hang out together in the living room or family room or whatever? Or is everyone hanging out by themselves? And, we were like, well, they're like, we're a living room family. And the kids are like, we love being a living room family. And they were not associating this phone rule with this, but but you and I were like
inextricably linked.
Yeah, well, that's why, because had we not had this rule in place, you do lose your kids to their phones in their bedrooms. I do really believe that. And well, we can get to some of the other part later on. So let's talk a little bit about how else besides
solution. So clearly first part of the solution is no phone in the bedroom, right? Which is
but how do you become a living room family?
So you can become a living room family. How are you going to do that, right? And we thought through about like, how do we incentivize people to be together in one floor or one room of the house, right? We purchased your like maybe favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. This sounds
makes total sense to me, but I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, we were brainstorming when we were thinking of this idea, that you were gonna sell, but we were basically selling it together because we're both so on board with it. I really thought of our couch. So we all in our family love our couch.
Yeah. Are you couch people or chair people? We're couch people.
We love our couch. So when we moved into this house, we've been in this house 8 or 9 years now, I think.
Come up on 9 years.
Yeah. Our family room, living room, I guess our family room is like pretty big and in like an interesting shape. And the couch we had fit in there, but we could have had something bigger. Yeah. And, a good couch, we've never really invested in a good couch. We've always gotten our stuff from like Value City Furniture or like IKEA,
Cheapo.
We've just never really invested in it. But we thought like, well, this is a big space. Like the couch can be kind of the focal room. Like maybe we should like invest in a really nice, good piece of furniture here. So we went to our house we shopped around, but we ended up at our house, and I think it's the Kipton, I'm pretty sure, because people, I know you don't know, but people ask me about that because
Kip is what I call her.
Oh yeah, okay, but it's a sectional, and we all love our couch like so much, to the point where we were just on this like college spring break tour, and Bennett, Emmy, and we were like, I'm kind of like excited to get home, and Emmy's like, I just can't wait to sit on the couch, and Bennett's like, me too, and I was like, me three. Like we love the couch. We all love to sit on the couch together, and so I do think there is something about like, you can say don't be in your bedroom, but like you have to have a space.
The stick and the carrot, right? Like if that's the way you think.
What is it?
The stick and the carrot, right? Like don't do this, but then give an incentive.
Oh yeah.
Like disincentivize one thing, but then incentivize.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, if you're not going to let them be in their cozy bed, like then create a space that's fun. It's a white couch. And I do think this is also important too. And so at first I was like, no eating on the white couch because it's a white couch. Well, that rule got broken about 1 week later. And I also think like, if we're going to be like, you can't go up in your room and chill in your room on your phones, you have to break some of your rules. Like you have to let your kids eat on the couch. And so to an extent, like sometimes somebody will try to bring over a bowl of salsa with their chips, and I'm like, that's a hard no. Or Bennett gets this big bowl of ice cream with all this chocolate syrup. I'm like, that's not on the white couch. But for the most part, we do let them eat on the couch because you can't make all the mean rules, like, all right, eat on the couch.
All right, ice cream mom.
Well, no,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like make it a cozy spot. We have lots.
Again, the concept is make it a place people want to be.
Yeah, we have lots of cozy blankets, lots of cozy pillows, and we can all fit on there. And Ava, like when Ava comes home from college, she's like, I can't wait to be on the couch. Yeah.
I mean, when you and Emmy were stretched out asleep on there before, I
don't know what you're talking about.
I still had plenty of room.
I have never taken a nap on a Sunday afternoon.
I watched the Masters for half an hour. Anyway, so that's part one, right? So. No phones in the bedroom, create a space that people want to be in, create things that people want to do. And I mean, one of the things that we do together all the time is find like usually a TV series, something to watch together that everyone's interested in. This is something that I really think we've done a good job of, like in order to create that nuclear sort of togetherness piece, like finding something that everyone is invested in watching together. And it can be challenging when you have like an age range with your kids. It can be challenging to find something that is both entertaining and appropriate for a lot of kids. But
And that's where I do think you also kind of just have to bend the rules a little bit.
I was going to say, you can't be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, right? Like some of them, you know, a 16, 17-year-old might be like, okay, but I'll watch it for my brother. And then, you know.
Yeah, and I think Bennett just has to play up a lot of times.
Yeah.
He has to play up. He's
going up a year group.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's plenty of things where I'm like, we would have never let Ava and me watch this kind of stuff. But, you know, pick your battles. Like, what's more important for Bennett? Like a close family unit where you see something that's slightly inappropriate, but you can talk through it and help him understand it, or watching Paw Patrol, but he has two sisters that he's never around.
Yeah.
You know, I choose the former. I choose like, all right, well, he hears some bad words and he sees something that some of it just goes over his head. It used to go over his head. Some of it we have to talk through. Like, I'd rather have a close family unit. And like, it's kind of like, and maybe, you know, what we're saying doesn't resonate with you, the listener, but like, I think that the crux of this is like, pick your one thing. And for us, it is like the family unit. Like it's always been like, we're going to try to create this really cohesive family unit. And like everything else revolves around that. And so sometimes that means Bennett hears a bunch of bad words, or Bennett watches Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders making the team and sees a bunch of boobs flying around. And we're like,
if they like sprouted wings. And
we're like, okay, Bennett, like, you know, you have to respect a female's body while he sees these boobs bouncing around. Like, and we're just like, well, let's just hope this message lands. But he also is like with his sisters, and, you know, like, the important thing for us is that we're together. And sometimes the girls have to sit and watch, and we watch a sports thing. And we don't really want to watch it, but we're like, well, we'll watch the sports thing if there's a good storyline, if we can find the story and the message. So we all have to give and take a little bit.
Less boobs, usually more squeaking of sneakers.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, another series we watched was the Ryan Trahan's 50 States in 50 Days, which like, I think he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And so like initially Bennett's like, Mom, you want to watch this YouTuber do 50 States in 50 Days? And I was like, no.
That's a no for me.
When you hear YouTuber, I'm like,
totally.
You know, a kid, like my 11-year-old wants me to watch this YouTuber series. I'm not interested. But it ended up being, we got so into it. I highly recommend that. It's on Amazon Prime. It was like so much fun for all of us to watch. We all got really into it and bingeable and really fun. Yeah. So you have to make compromises.
Yeah, so that's a total win, right? That's what you're going to get 50 episodes out of. So, I mean, you know, that'll take you a while to get through.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, compromise, things you won't compromise on, things you will compromise on. And I like that idea, right? So now we get to the stakes, the researchy part. I'm going to save a piece for success for you to come back to, because I really like that one too. And I know you like brain science.
We're going to call it neuroscience to make it sound smarter.
So I got a research neuroscience-y number here.
This is the not fun part,
Yeah. So what if we don't do this, right? What if we just let things sort of play out as they play out? And the girls would have been very much retreating to their corners of the house, in their rooms with their phones. Well, what research shows us these days is 72% of teenagers these days are sleeping with their phones in their bedroom, right? Which I don't have a stat for this, but my guess is that's also decreasing the amount of rest and sleep they're actually getting, because they're probably, if their phone is right there and available to them, they're not falling asleep right away, and they're probably under-rested and overtired, et cetera, right? And we also know that there's kids these days have higher levels of anxiety, depression, a greater sense of disconnection with friends and peers, because of the isolation that's driven home by phone usage and overutilization these days. And finally, we don't need a stat for this either, but no one is watching in the bedroom, right? Like we are watching when they're at the kitchen table. We're all watching when they're at the family room. Like, we're seeing all these things, but we don't have eyes on them when they're in that specific location. So all of that together for us was just too big of a pill to swallow.
Yeah. Yeah. For us, this was the battle we decided to fight.
Yeah.
If I could go back and do it again, I probably would have delayed the phone way longer. I would have delayed the apps way longer.
With Bennett, we likely will delay the phone.
Yeah. I would have, like, I also think, like, when Ava was getting into it, we didn't really understand it as much as there wasn't as much research.
I do remember thinking when Ava was dying to get a phone, I thought incorrectly that it was just for her to text with all of her friends, which was a thing, but it was far less of a thing than I expected.
Yeah.
It was much more like who's on Instagram, then it was TikTok, and then who's on
well, she didn't have TikTok for a really long time.
No, I know, but what was the other one? Snapchat.
Yeah. Snapchats. Yeah. So let's talk about some objections to all this.
Yeah.
Kids need privacy. Like, you can't micromanage a kid. What would you say to that?
I don't disagree with that to a certain extent, but the amount of privacy you need is not as much as you want, right? Like, your kid, you're going to think you need all of this privacy. You don't need all that privacy. You deserve some for sure, but like, we've said this 1,000 times. You are living under the roof that we pay for. Like, this is our house. We make the rules. I mean, how many times have we gotten these discussions where I'm like, just to be clear, this is not a democracy. I'm happy to hear your opinion, but like, I do not need to consult you to make a decision. Mom and I will figure this out. So yeah, I get the privacy thing. I just think, like, at the end of the day, that doesn't resonate with me at this level,
And I also think they can have privacy without their phones. Like, they can have privacy. They can go up to their room. They can be by themselves. They can have friends over and have private conversations. They can, and we do allow them to go and have conversations on the phone privately all the time. This isn't about us needing to know everything. This is about stopping the endless scroll of doom on their own.
Yeah. And I think that's it. We like dig into it, right? I need privacy. Okay, for what? I should be able to talk to my friends. Okay, go head up in your room a half an hour and talk to your friends. Privacy doesn't mean you need 6 hours laying on your bed scrolling through individual social media app on your phone. If you want a half hour to talk to your friend, go for it.
Yeah. What about, like, my kid's responsible. I don't need to put that in. Like, my kid won't fall into that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, because I think that's something that we thought about too. Our kids are responsible. I'm a responsible guy. I can waste a long time on stuff that I don't even care about. It's just phones, apps, these things are designed to take your focus away from other things and just get you enthralled on that platform.
Yeah, they're addictive.
It's really easy to fall victim to that. Even if you have a responsible kid. I'm not even trying to insinuate that kids are all going to be doing like really nefarious things.
No.
It's just a very much, what do you call, brain rotting? Is that what the phrase is?
Good job.
Like that? All right. Yeah, the kids are telling me brain rotting. I mean, it's just easy. It's easy to fall into. And that's, it's not about responsibility. It's just what the actual platform is designed to do.
Yeah. And I think it's way easier to start strict and loosen up than to go the other way.
With everything.
That's my biggest tip for younger parents when they ask me about, like, what did you do with phones? I'm like, just be as strict as you can in the beginning, and then you can always go the other way, versus like, let me loosey-goosey and try to then tighten the reins. That's so much harder. So, and I think every kid is different. Like, Ava and Emmy are very different with the way they treat their devices, with what they do. And they do require two different sets of things, and we can let different things go for each of them, and then it will be the same. So you know your kid, but I do think, as a general rule, and again, does this rule get broken? Yeah. Do we know it gets broken? Yeah. Like, sometimes do we fight it? Yeah. Sometimes do we let it go? Yeah. Like, it's just like anything else, which kind of brings me to the third one, which is like, well, aren't you making this a forbidden fruit? So, like, if you're just restricting this, like, you can't go into your room, isn't it making it like, well, I want to take it to my room all the time?
I feel like that's such a cop out to me. Like, that makes me like, I'm like frustrated even hearing that as an objection from you. Not from you. I know you made it up, but like, to make it a forbidden fruit. I mean, we talked about this a couple times. Like, sometimes you just got to toughen up. Like, the kids, adults, everybody, like, you just have to toughen up. Like, is it forbidden fruit because I said I can't have? Yeah, I said you can't have it. I am 50% the boss of this house, and that's what I said. And the other 50% of the boss of this house, she said it too. So, okay, like, I get that, I understand that, but like, I think there's a constant reminder of, like, I don't want to downplay, but I also think the idea is, we're consistently reminding the things we do have. It's not like we said you can't take the phone to the room and that's that. and then did not try to provide like an environment for them to want to be in.
Yeah.
That's where the couch comes in, the shows, the
Yeah.
thing that we talked about before, right? Like if we're taking one thing away, here's what we're substituting in its place.
Right. I think it'd be different.
I
think it'd be different. I do feel a little bit of a hypocrite because we take our phones to our room, but it's not.
I don't.
Lies, but at night we do.
Yeah.
But it's not like we take our phones to it's not like we're like, you guys can't have your phones in your room, but we're up in our rooms. Yeah, although they'd probably be happy with that because then the living room would be their room and it would just be like they'd have their privacy.
Yeah.
We have our privacy. But like I think the point of this whole idea is like it's not about the phones in their room. It's like we're talking. We're trying, at least. We're trying. Like this is not perfect. We are a work in progress. We have probably most of our disagreements with our kids growing up were and still are sometimes around the phone. Like it is very difficult. And so we're still trying to figure it out. But this is one thing that we really have not wavered on. And I do feel like has worked very well for us in the long run and kept our first thing first, which is keeping the family unit strong and tight. Does that mean that like everything's perfect in our family? Hell no. We got our own problems. We always will. Like we will continue to get new ones. But even, I think the other thing is I was kind of like, how's this going to work with Ava? Because she goes to college, and like when she comes home, obviously, like she's going to have her phone right next to her, and so how's that going to work? And she came home and of course like took her phone right up to her room. And I was just like, hey, like, I know this feels dumb. But we still pay for her phone bill, I'm like, I know this feels dumb to you. Like, I understand you just go get to do whatever, but I'm like, you are back in the house and like, this is the family rule and it's important to us. And like, if we're asking your sister to abide by this, like we kind of need you to abide by this too. And like, if you want to take it up while you're doing whatever, like just give me a heads up. Like, we can communicate like adults here. But for the most part, when you go to sleep, like I would prefer if you dock it downstairs and just less of like, Ava, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And she was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And she does. Yeah. Like, and for the, like she, it's more of a understanding now. Yeah. And it was really a non-issue.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's just understanding and because I feel like there's a level of respect that we've created.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and that's like the true measure of success for this to me, right? Like her being, not really living at home.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but like coming home and then visiting here for a week at a time or 2 weeks at a time. And then, we're like, hey, this is still important to us. This is still sort of the rule here. Your sister's abiding by the rule. It means a lot to us for you to come back and continue to do so. And I don't remember there being really much of an issue there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty cool. That to me is like, if I'm thinking about, going through this and saying, like, hey, what does success look like in this entire piece for the idea that we're selling today? I mean, that was truly the measure of success.
Yeah. Yeah. I think two things that to me feel like success. One, Ava, while we're talking about her, they had to do something in her sorority and she talked about, I'm proud that my family's a living room family, and she was like, I love that. I know we'll all be together. And I love that when I have friends over, they come and sit on the couch and my parents will talk to them. Yeah. And it's like a central place where everyone is together and feels welcomed. And I really do, not to keep like beating the phone thing on, but I really do feel like if everyone was just kind of retreating to their corners, that'd be harder to do. It's still possible, but it'd be harder to do. Like why was that easier? Like when we were growing up, because that the phone was a non-issue. It wasn't a factor. So there's that. And then the other thing that to me, this just feels like the highest compliment that
Did it come from me?
No, actually came from one of Emmy's friends. One of Emmy's good friends was like, Emmy, when I grow up, I want to have a family just like your family. Like that is my goal. I want to have a family just like your family. Like when I come over, just everyone's there at the kitchen table or everyone's in the living room and everyone's talking and like that's my goal. I want to have a family just like your family. And for a teenager to say that, I think that's the highest compliment. And again, like this episode made me nervous because I don't know.
You thought it was gonna be like preachy.
I don't want to be preachy. I don't want to ever make it feel like we think we are perfect or above anybody else because
no, I'm kidding.
Because like parenting kids in this world is so hard, and I sit with my friends and so many people, and we can just like go back and forth with all the things we're juggling, and we juggle so many things, and we've gone through so many hard things, and so like there are so many things that we navigate through. But I do feel like we have this platform to be able to share some advice of things we have figured out, and this is one thing that I do feel like we have figured out, and that has gone really well for us. And so if any of these tips are helpful, like maybe just go to our house and get a couch, you know?
Yeah, just go to our house. There's what, they're probably in every major city.
Yeah. You know, there's that.
Every fine retailer. What is this? I'm not sure what every fine retailer available at your local fine retailer. But no, I agree. I think this was a piece of advice that really helps. Really helped us. I think it,
And I also think it's less dramatic than. It's hard to say no phone. Maybe maybe it should be like no phones under 16. And I know that that's probably what should happen. I don't know. I can't.
Tough, right?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not bold enough or brave enough to get there. But for us, this was like a way to tiptoe into it, and it's working out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I think if you find yourself in that spot and you're looking for some sort of thing to draw that line in the sand that you mentioned earlier, like maybe this has value for you as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And blame it on us.
I'm buying. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let us know. No phones in the bedroom for kids. Are you buying it? And we'll be back next week.
Thank you.